Welcome to this unprecedented debate where we dissect the moral complexities of one of the most polarizing figures in mutant history, Magneto. Tonight, we ask, can a villain ever be redeemed? Joining us are Magneto himself, the mutant revolutionary, Professor Charles Xavier, advocate for coexistence, and Dr. Ethics, a leading expert in moral psychology. Let's begin with our first question. Can true redemption erase a villain's past atrocities? Dr. Ethics, your opening thoughts.
Redemption is a psychological and ethical process, not a magical eraser. Past atrocities, Magneto's destruction, loss of life, leave scars on society that no personal transformation can undo. Redemption may shift how we judge intent, but the harm remains. Magneto, can you justify your actions as redeemable when the body count speaks for itself?
Justify? I don't seek absolution from a world that branded mutants as abominations. My actions were survival, war against those who genocide my kind. Redemption implies guilt, Doctor. I feel none for protecting my people. Erasure of my past? Impossible, nor do I desire it.
Eric, your pain is real, but redemption isn't about erasing the past. It's about choosing a different future. Your atrocities, however motivated, alienated the very mutants you claim to protect. True redemption requires accountability, not defiance.
A powerful start. Magneto's unapologetic stance leads us to our next question. Is Magneto's violence justified by mutant oppression? Professor X, can oppression ever excuse such extreme measures?
Oppression is a crucible, but it doesn't grant a blank check for violence. Eric, you've seen the same horrors I have. Mutant internment, hatred, fear. Yet I believe our response must elevate us, not mirror the brutality we oppose. Your violence risks becoming the oppression you fight.
Charles, your idealism blinds you. Humans built camps, hunted us, experimented on us. My violence? It's the language they understand. When mutants are slaughtered, passivity is complicity. My actions forced their respect, their fear. That's the only justice we've ever gained.
Magneto, your logic assumes violence is the only path, but does it achieve justice or perpetuate a cycle? Studies show oppressed groups can resist without bloodshed. Gandhi, King. Your choice of violence may reflect personal rage more than strategic necessity.
This raises a deeper question. Does trauma excuse Magneto's extremist ideology? Dr. Ethics, how does Magneto's past, his Holocaust survival, shape this debate?
Trauma can explain behavior, but it doesn't excuse it. Magneto's experiences, losing his family, enduring genocide, create a hyper-vigilant worldview. Psychologically, his extremism is a defense mechanism, projecting past horrors onto the present. But ethics demands accountability. Trauma justifies empathy, not extremism.
You reduce my life to a case study, Doctor? I watched my family burn. I saw humanity's true face. My ideology isn't extremism, it's clarity. When you've seen what I have, you don't wait for the next ovens to be built.
Eric, I share your memories of pain, but trauma can blind as much as it reveals. Your ideology turns allies into enemies, mutants into soldiers. Redemption lies in breaking that cycle, not fueling it with more hate.
Let's shift to a core issue. Is Magneto's moral code inherently selfish? Dr. Ethics, does Magneto's focus on mutant survival prioritize his own vision over others' lives?
Magneto's moral code centers on mutant supremacy, which can read as self-serving. His actions, destroying human infrastructure, risking mutant lives, suggest a need for control, rooted in his own survival narrative. Ethical selflessness prioritizes collective good, not one man's crusade.
Selfish? I've bled for mutants while humans spit on us. My code is sacrifice, my freedom, my peace, for my people's future. You call that selfish because I refuse to bow to a world that hates us?
Eric, your code sacrifices too much. Mutant unity, human lives, even your own humanity.
True leadership lifts all, not just those who share your blood. Your vision excludes as much as it protects.
This brings us to a contentious point. Can empathy justify Magneto's genocidal actions? Professor X, can Magneto's empathy for mutants excuse the harm he's caused?
Empathy is a double-edged sword. Eric's love for mutants drives him, but it blinds him to the humanity of others. Genocide, even with noble intent, dehumanizes both victim and perpetrator. Empathy must extend to all, or it's just tribalism.
Empathy for humans? They've shown none for us. My actions protect mutants from extinction. If that's genocide, so be it. I'll bear that stain to save my kind.
Empathy doesn't justify genocide, it complicates it. Magneto, your selective empathy, mutants over humans, mirrors the tribalism you condemn. Ethical empathy requires universal application, not cherry-picking who deserves it.
Let's explore redemption further. Is redemption possible without societal forgiveness? Dr. Ethics, can Magneto redeem himself if society rejects him?
Redemption is both internal and external. Without societal forgiveness, personal change lacks impact. Magneto could renounce violence, but if society, mutant or human, rejects him, his redemption is incomplete. Trust is a two-way street.
Society's forgiveness? I don't crave it. Humans will never forgive mutants, and I owe them no contrition. My redemption, if it exists, is for mutants alone.
Eric, redemption doesn't need universal forgiveness, but it does need trust. If you seek redemption, start with those you've harmed, mutants included. Society's forgiveness follows your actions, not your demands.
This leads us to a critical question. Does Magneto's power corrupt his ethics? Dr. Ethics, does Magneto's immense power shape his moral failings?
Power amplifies personality. Magneto's ability to manipulate metal gives him godlike control, fostering a messianic complex. Psychological studies show power can erode empathy and inflate self-justification. His ethics bend to his power, not the other way around.
My power is my burden, not my corruption. It's the tool I wield to protect mutants from a world that would crush us. Without it, we'd be ashes. Corruption? That's a human luxury I can't afford.
Power doesn't corrupt, Eric. It reveals. Your abilities amplify your fear, your rage. Ethics isn't about power. It's about restraint. You've chosen to wield yours as a weapon, not a shield.
Let's pivot to Magneto's broader mission. Is Magneto's rebellion a form of justice? Professor X, is his fight against oppression a just cause?
Rebellion against injustice is noble, but Magneto's methods undermine his cause. Justice seeks balance, not domination. His rebellion sacrifices too many lives, human and mutant, for a vision that excludes coexistence.
Justice? I am justice. Humans wrote the rules to oppress us. I rewrite them in mutant blood. My rebellion is the only thing keeping us from extinction. Charles, your peace is surrender.
Justice requires proportionality. Magneto, your rebellion often punishes the innocent alongside the guilty. Ethical justice distinguishes between oppressors and bystanders. Your rebellion doesn't.
This brings us to intent versus impact. Can a villain's intent outweigh their harm? Dr. Ethics, does Magneto's intent to save mutants justify the devastation he's caused?
Intent matters, but harm carries more weight ethically. Magneto's goal, mutant survival, is noble, but his methods, mass destruction, loss of life, create a moral deficit. Good intentions don't absolve catastrophic outcomes.
Harm? The harm I've caused pales against the harm mutants face daily. My intent is survival, and every life lost is a price I pay willingly. You judge my methods, but you ignore my cause.
Intent can guide redemption, Eric, but it doesn't erase harm. Your cause is just, but your actions fracture the very future you fight for. Redemption starts with owning that harm.
Let's dig into Magneto's mindset. Is Magneto's ideology a product of paranoia? Dr. Ethics, is his worldview grounded in reality or fear?
Magneto's ideology blends reality and paranoia. Mutant oppression is undeniable. Internment camps, anti-mutant laws, but his belief that all humans are enemies reflects a paranoid overgeneralization, a trauma response that distorts his ethical compass.
Paranoia? Call it survival instinct. When you've seen humanity's worst, ovens, labs, mobs, you don't wait for their next betrayal. My ideology is forged in truth, not fear.
Eric, your fear is real, but it paints all humans as monsters. That's where paranoia creeps in. Not every human is your enemy, just as not every mutant is your ally. Redemption lies in seeing that distinction.
This leads to a pivotal question. Does redemption require abandoning core beliefs? Professor X, must Magneto forsake his ideals to redeem himself?
Redemption doesn't mean abandoning your beliefs, Eric. It means refining them. Your core belief in mutant rights is just, but your methods, violence, supremacy, taint it. Redemption requires aligning your actions with your ideals, not discarding them.
Abandon my beliefs? Never. My fight is for mutants to live free, not to grovel for human acceptance. If redemption means betraying that, I reject it outright.
Core beliefs evolve with self-reflection. Magneto, your refusal to question your methods suggests rigidity, not conviction. Redemption often requires redefining what you fight for, not just how you fight.
Let's explore Magneto's motivations further. Is Magneto's hatred a rational response? Dr. Ethics, is his hatred justified by the world he's faced?
Hatred can be a rational response to injustice, but Magneto's is indiscriminate. His experiences, genocide, betrayal, justify anger, but channeling it into hatred of all humans ignores nuance. Rationality requires precision. His hatred is too broad.
Rational? My hatred is the only rational response to a world that hunts us. Every mutant death fuels it. Every human law tightens it. You call it broad. I call it necessary.
Hatred is understandable, Eric, but it's not rational. It's consuming. It blinds you to allies, to hope. Rationality would see the world as it could be, not just as it's been.
We're nearing our final questions. Can a villain be redeemed without remorse? Dr. Ethics, is remorse a prerequisite for Magneto's redemption?
Remorse is the cornerstone of redemption. Without it, there's no acknowledgement of harm, no drive to change. Magneto's defiance, his lack of regret, blocks any meaningful redemption. Ethics demands accountability, not just intent.
Remorse? For what? Saving my people? I regret only that I haven't done more. If redemption requires me to kneel and weep for human losses, you'll wait forever.
Eric, remorse isn't weakness, it's strength. It's admitting your actions hurt more than just your enemies. Without it, redemption is just words. You can still save mutants without losing your soul.
Our final question. Is Magneto's leadership heroic or tyrannical? Professor X, your thoughts?
Eric's leadership inspires mutants, but it's tyrannical in its cost. Heroism uplifts without sacrifice. Tyranny demands loyalty at any price. His vision could be heroic if it embraced hope over fear.
Tyrannical? I lead because no one else will. Heroes are myths. I'm the reality mutants need. My leadership is their salvation, not their chains.
Leadership is judged by its legacy. Magneto, your followers are loyal, but your methods, coercion, destruction, lean tyrannical. Heroism requires sacrifice for others, not of them.
And with that, we close this gripping debate. Magneto's ethics, his redemption, remain a battleground of ideals, trauma, and power. Can a villain ever be redeemed? The question lingers. Thank you, Magneto, Professor X, and Dr. Ethics for this unforgettable clash of perspectives.